What's poppin', team? This is Diego coming to you from DTech Cube, and in today's video we're going to be talking about ClickUp, as clearly indicated by the swag that I'm sporting today. Thank you, ClickUp, for sending me some amazing swag. In this video we're going to be discussing dashboards. Yes, dashboards, which is a powerful feature within ClickUp. If you have not tried it already, I'm going to introduce it to you today. And if you've tried it already, we're going to talk about how we can create a new dashboard. I'll show you an example of one. We'll talk about the importance of dashboards, and then I'll show you how to create one based on the data in your project list. Without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to minimize myself here because screen is most important. You'll see that I have home, inbox, docs, and dashboards, and I'm going to click on the dashboards tab, and that's going to open up a view of my recent dashboards, anything I've favorited, and anything created by me. So if you're working on anything within your team, you'll also have a couple of tabs down here where you can switch between things that you're working with your team, dashboards you've assigned to be private, shared outside, let's say, of within your organization. So there are some filtering capabilities you can certainly leverage to navigate to the right dashboard, especially if you've got at some point hundreds of dashboards to navigate through. Before I head into a dashboard, I'm going to show you this catalog status dashboard that I've created, and I use it primarily to track the status of all of the different tools that are in the DTech Cube catalog on dtechcube.com. And this dashboard is pulling data from our software catalog space and list called All Tools. So let me take you there for a moment. And here's an example of all of the tools thus far that are on dtechcube.com. More to come, but this is just a quick example of all of the different tools that we've marked as published. You'll see different statuses for published. I'll close that one, and now you'll see building. This is where we're building the info boards where we present the information about that tool to you on our site. Statuses for testing, and anything that's in our backlog. Now, the importance of a dashboard comes in when you're trying to visualize your data at a glance to gain insight into the status, into the progress overall of that particular project list. So let's head back to the dashboard tab. And when I hit the catalog status dashboard, here's an example of something I created that has a couple of charts. You'll see a couple of numbers on screen, some text widgets as well, and a portfolio item down here. So let's just break this down for a moment. I created a pie chart that breaks down the workload for each of these catalogs by status. So as you can see, I have 45 tools thus far that have been published. I also have backlogged items. You can see at a glance the ones I'm building and the ones I'm testing. This is just a quick at a glance view of where I'm at in the catalog. Work to be done for sure. I've also created a separate chart that just a different way to visualize it. It's really giving me the same exact data when I look at it. So here I've got 39% of that entire all tools list is published. I've translated this to 41% in the backlog, and etc. for building and for testing. So at a glance, when I need to either display this dashboard quickly for me to understand where I'm at in the catalog process, this allows me to do that. I also included a couple of numbers that I can see just quickly. How many have I completed tasks associated with work that I have to do in the catalog? So actually what I've done here is I'm pulling this data from a different list where I track action items. 47 tasks in progress today that I am tracking to support the work done in this catalog. I have a widget that indicates the kind of my target, and this is a text-based widget where I can really type anything I want, help contextualize different widgets you see on the dashboard. There's tag usage, so I have an example of tags that I'm using throughout ClickUp, things that, teams, is it app store only, So different tags that make sense to me, but I can see that on the widget reflected here. And so this is just a brief example of what I'm using the dashboards for. Now, let's talk about some really important features within the dashboard itself. So, in the workload by status, there's this concept of drilling down into the specific items reflected in any one of these pieces of a chart. So if I look at published and I click on published, it will open up a drill down, and that will show on the right hand side all of the items that match that status. So as you can see, I have both tasks and subtasks represented here, which make up the whole 45. And it works in real time. So if I were to come here and say, Apple Keynote, which is one of the tools on our site, go to the task, and I change the status from published back to building, and I exit, it's refreshed, and now you'll see 44 have been published. Excellent way for you to be able to deploy a dashboard and ensure that the updates you make to any list that ties to it will be reflected in real time for whoever your stakeholders are, whether that's yourself or someone else. And I can do the same with other statuses on this list. I can click the building status, and that will automatically shift to any of the tasks that are represented in a building status back in that project list. All right, let's head out of here. And the same thing works for my other type of chart. So if I click here, it'll drill down in that same manner, and it'll reflect the chart that I clicked on the left-hand side. Now let's talk about how we put all this stuff here, right? Let's talk about actually building and creating one. So for this exercise, I'm going to head over to our Content Hub, which is where the magic happens in the DTech Cube blog. So let's look at our blog posts for a moment. Okay, so I have a couple of statuses represented here. Blog posts that are being revised, ones that we're crafting, ones that we're planning, ones that have an idea that's just been generated but not started at this point. This is my blog posts list. You'll also see, let's move myself over here. On the left-hand side, I also have SaaS articles, ones specific to software. So ones that we're currently in the crafting mode right now, ones that are being planned, an idea generated. So we've kind of kept the same status structure there. So let's create a dashboard that encompasses both blog posts and SaaS articles so we can see an at-a-glance view of all content that's being developed. So we're going to head back to the Dashboards tab. And in the top right-hand corner, I'm going to select New Dashboard. I have a couple of options to use a template. So I can create a simple dashboard, a reporting dashboard, and a time tracking dashboard. Please note that some of these will require a business level plan, but really you can maximize your use of the dashboards feature without having that level of a plan. Let's say if you're a freelancer or solopreneur who doesn't really work with the team right now and can't justify a business cost, you can absolutely get so much value from dashboards regardless, as I do. So let's head to Create Custom Dashboard. And when you do so, you're going to open up kind of the widgets catalog. That widgets catalog, you can filter down by category. So here are some of the featured widgets that are available. And you notice that a lot of them are tagged with the type of plan you need in order to access it. I'm on an unlimited plan, and so that's why I'll be able to use some of the other ones that are listed here, but I'm not on a business plan. I can head down to Custom, Sprints, Statuses, which is really kind of my main flow. I use my dashboards mainly for progress tracking. I can track tag usage and assignees. So as you progress down through the categories, you have a lot of options available to you, even if you're not on a higher tiered plan, to really create a dashboard that works for you. Let's start with something simple. Let's say I want to track the status of all the content that I'm developing at this point. I'm going to start with a pie chart. So I click Workload by Status. I can call this, instead of workload, let's call this Content Development by Status. And then I want to select the location that I'm going to pull this data from. Now, what I love about this is I can expand my Content Hub, that's my space within ClickUp, And if I wanted to just track everything in the blog, I could just click the entire blog folder and that will subsequently click everything underneath it. I love this. So you can certainly drill down to a specific list if you want, but because I want to track blog posts and SaaS articles, I can just click the entire folder, or I can just select the two that I need. Then I want to say, well, we're definitely grouping this by status. That's the widget I selected. I can drill down into the specific statuses I want to appear on the list, which is really cool. So let's say I don't want my, not started or done to be represented here. I only wanted to see things that were currently in an active state. You have that level of flexibility as well. For the sake of this, I'm going to include all statuses. Now, much like in my catalog status dashboard, I included subtasks because I leverage subtasks a lot. So let's include that there just in case there are any sub-items within my blog posts that I want to track as well. And then you can kind of go down the list and anything else you need. Do you want archived items? Do I want to show closed items? I always like showing closed items. I definitely want to see what I've completed up until that point. Include tasks in multiple lists. I can include subtasks in multiple lists. If you wanted to display things as a percentage, that's really helpful as well. And then you also have the opportunity to filter things even further. So if I wanted to filter only things assigned to a specific user or created within a particular date range, the sky's the limit really with what you want to show on your dashboard. Let's keep it nice and simple. And I'm just going to add this card with everything we've put in here thus far. And just like that, my pie chart's ready to go. So let's expand this. Now, what I love about the widgets feature in the dashboards is just this drag and drop ease of use capability. So if you hover over the corner or the sides of any widget on your dashboard, you can just morph it. You can click and drag to any one of the boxes on the grid to make it as big as you want, to make it as small as you want. Sometimes I find myself just clicking and dragging for a little bit, and I will warn you, you may spend some time doing a lot of design once you have enough widgets on your screen, trying to get it just perfect and really creating a good-looking dashboard. So I'm warning you now, don't spend too much time on that because you can easily get caught up in that process. But here it is. So you'll see we've got 24 planning. That reflects 20% of the workload. There's 53% of the entire, of both lists are posts that have not been started. An idea has just been generated. Clearly I've got a lot of work to do. One revising that reflects 0.8%, you get the idea. It is just clearly showing the amount of work that you have to do and representing that in a percentage to really get a quick understanding of where you are in your process. Cool. That is just an example of a pie chart. Let's add another chart. Top right corner, add card. I'm going to head down to statuses again. Let's just see how we can visualize this in another way. I'll go to workload by status in a battery chart. I'm a huge fan of the battery chart. So the same thing. Let's say in this chart, I only want to reflect one of the lists. So I'm going to say blog posts status. And then when I select my location, I'll go to my space, I'll open the folder, and then I'll click blog posts only, not SaaS articles. And in this case, I want to enable the same settings I did for my pie chart. So show me subtasks, show me closed, and in this case, don't display as a percent. Let's just see the number of things that I have to do. Let's add card, and we get our battery chart. Okay, so I can hover over any of these and see at any time how many I have to work on. Great. Now, if I wanted to create, let's say, a separate battery chart just for the SaaS articles list, an easy way to do that is you have these ellipses that appear pretty much on any widget that you put on the dashboard. If I click on the ellipses, I can duplicate. this widget. And then I can go into the settings and I'll just switch the location of this widget from blog posts to SAS articles. Then I'll come back to my name and make sure that it reflects the right list it's pulling from. So I'll say SAS articles status. Save, and that'll update to reflect SAS articles instead. That's a nice easy way to create a quick duplicate widget and just do a quick change of where the data is pulling from. So I want to make this pie chart kind of flush with the other two widgets, so I'll do that. Excellent. Now let's wrap it up with a couple of other really cool widgets you can use. So I'm going to add another card. And let's go to assignees. So I'm a one-man team at this point, so I'm going to go in tasks by assignee. And let's do this on a bar graph. So this isn't going to be quite the comprehensive display because, again, I'm a one-man team. But I'll select the location, and I'm just going to select everything in the blog by just clicking on the folder. I'll include subtasks, closed, and add this card. Cool. And it'll show me anything that's assigned to Diego Torres and then anything that's unassigned. And of course, if you've got a nice big team, this is an amazing way to see just workload. How many tasks have been assigned to one person versus another person, and you can allocate accordingly. Let's add one more card to contextualize some of the information we have on screen, like a text block. So I'll go to text block, and what I love about the text block is it leverages the same /command technology that you can use in docs. So, for example, let's say I want to write a description. Here is a description of these charts. Then I can hit the / key, and I have all of the same items available to me that are in my docs right here within this text block, which is amazing. So if I want to embed a YouTube video, embed a website, include a ClickUp list as a table here, which is really easy. So I just browse a list and I can include the blog posts list and then add card. So right within my dashboard, I have got the charts for overarching where am I on the content development status, blog post status, the SAS article status specifically, tasks by assignee, how many posts are assigned to me versus unassigned or to other people. And then in my text block, I have the entire table of my blog posts list. So really, the sky's the limit with the cards that you add and the data you want to visualize at a glance on screen. And of course, if you've got a higher tier, then you've got a lot more available to you in that card catalog. So this is just a quick introduction and general overview of ClickUp dashboards and what you can do with it, and the power of just being able to add cards, drill down into different items at any time, because now that I've created this, the drill down is automatic. I can just click onto any one of the charts I've added and then see what those statuses are and which tasks are represented by those statuses in the tables. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions about this process, then you can reach out to help@dtechcube.com, and I also highly recommend using ClickUp's Help Center to learn a lot more about what you can do with dashboards depending on the tier that you have. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.